child who lives with domestic violence lives in darkness. She sees things no child should see, and hears things no child should hear. She struggles to separate her nightmares from reality because there's very little difference. The child who lives with domestic violence isn't afraid of the dark. She's afraid of her dad because the monster doesn't live in her closet. It's just down the hall. And when she grows up, she'll be more likely to be abused. And her brother? He'll be twice as likely to become a monster himself, because that's the world they know. When a woman lives with domestic violence, she's completely devastated, because the person she should be able to turn to has turned on her. And she thought he'd change once they got married, had a child, or when he got a better job. But he never did. And she's tried to make things better, but she can't make him stop. So when she locks the door at night, she's not keeping danger out, she's keeping it in. And she feels hopeless, ashamed, and completely trapped. When a woman lives with domestic violence, she hears voices. And she feels completely alone. But she's not the only one.
Domestic violence is a pattern of abusive behavior in any relationship that is used by one partner to gain or maintain power and control over another partner. This occurs through a systematic pattern of intimidation, manipulation, humiliation, isolation, fear, terror, coercion, threats, blaming, or injury to the victim. That's a mouthful for sure. Sometimes domestic violence is also referred to as domestic abuse, relationship abuse, or intimate partner violence. Regardless of the term, they all mean abuse that occurs between married couples, cohabitating partners, dating partners, or relatives, and can involve children or siblings. Domestic violence happens to people in all walks of life, regardless of age, gender, sexual orientation, race, religion, education, profession, or socioeconomic status. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience some form of domestic violence during their lifetime, either directly as a victim of abuse or by witnessing it as children. If you're currently experiencing it, it's important to realize many other people have gone and are going through the same adversity, and that help is available. Bodily harm. Often it does involve physical violence, but it frequently also involves emotional abuse, sexual abuse, economic abuse, and spiritual abuse. Some of these forms of abuse, which involve name-calling, threats, possessiveness, distrust, or countless other tactics, can be more difficult to detect because they don't leave marks, bruises, or broken bones, and because they may be dismissed or downplayed by both the victim and the abuser, as well as those around them, when in fact they are forms of domestic violence. By the way, as you explore domestic violence further, you'll likely hear the term survivor used in place of what others might refer to as a victim. Survivor is an empowering term domestic violence advocates, people currently experiencing abuse, and people who have successfully moved on from an abuser like to use because of what it implies. Above all, always remember, abuse is never your fault. You do not deserve to be with a partner who makes you feel unsafe or who harms you physically or emotionally. It is also up to you and you alone to decide when the safest time is to leave your abuser and plan your escape.
Let's stop it at the start. Australian government launches campaign to break circle of domestic violence. The Australian government has launched Let's Stop It at the Start. The statistic shows the gravity of the situation and that on average, 1 woman is killed every week at the hands of a current or former partner. 1 in 3 women has been a victim of physical or sexual violence since the age of 15 from someone new to them, and 1 in 4 young people are prepared to excuse violence from a partner. As parents and as influencers of young people, they want the best for kids. They want them to have positive experiences, healthy relationships, and opportunities to learn. They want them to understand right and wrong. They want them to respect others and respect themselves. They do their best to set a good example, but sometimes without meaning to. They might say things that excuse disrespectful behavior in young people. From a young age, boys and girls start to believe there are reasons and situations that make disrespectful behavior acceptable. We might be surprised at seeing things like, "It's okay, he just did it because he likes you," and "boys will be boys" excuses this behavior in the minds of young people. Yet it's easy to make these excuses without even realizing it. You never know when a situation might come up for a conversation with young people about respect. It could be a proactive conversation, or it could be that you've seen an incident that needs addressing. It's not always going to be easy, but it's a conversation worth having. Every time we speak out against disrespectful behavior, we are one step closer to stopping the circle of violence against women. It's important we understand the circle of violence. Not all disrespect towards women result in violence, but all violence against women starts with disrespectful behavior. We can all help stop it at the start.
You're okay. Just did it because he likes you.
Why? Why are you doing it?
You're okay. He loves you.
What do you mean? What do I do?
Violence against women starts with disrespect. The excuses we make allow it to grow. Violence against women, let's stop it at the start.